up, guys? We're going to start build video part 3 here of our 70mm bat wing. We're using the Detrum 70mm EDF combo kit from hobbyparts.com. Alright, picking up where we left off, I had just installed my thrust tube, and I told you how to install that, and it's very important that you get this right. Now here you can see I got lines marked right at the bottom of the ears, right across there, and it's basically right at the bottom of the ears. And you want to put your ruler on there and measure 9 inches back to your EDF unit. Again, that was 9 inches from the start of these two lines. And then we made our marks back here at 9 inches. We took our half of our foam cup, we centered it on there really nice, traced it out, and we popped our EDF unit in there. Alright, let's pick up where we left off. I was showing you the option for going and getting a canopy from a hobby shop. And this one here, this one's like 9 inches long by 2.5 inches wide. I think it was just off of like some old P51 or something. I just picked it up from my local hobby store. And I'm going to put this one on my bat jet. With the plans, you get these fins that you can stick on here, and I'm going to show you right now how we're going to do this. And this is what will come with the plans. This is the option. You can go ahead and install a canopy of your set, your choice. So I'll show you what I did here. Was I went ahead and measured 1/2 inch in, 1/2 inch, same on the other side. That's where you get your measurement from there to there. So it's a 1/2 inch. And on the back here, you just want to be at 1 inch. So from the inside of this turn to the back of the canopy fins is 1 inch. And I went ahead and marked it. Then I went a 1/2 inch in. I went ahead and set one of these on here, right where I wanted it. And I just traced it out with my pen, both sides, all the way around it. That's how we got our lines on both sides. So now we're going to take and we're going to score a line in the back where our canopies meet here. We're going to score a line between the two. You'll see why in just a second. Again, this is right at the back of your two canopy fins. And this is your main fuselage, the top of your main fuselage. So we went ahead and scored a line in the back. Now we're going to go back in here like so. Now going on the inside line of your canopy fin, we're going to take and cut all the way through. We're going to do this on both sides. You're going to want to take this right about there. Call it there. Alright, I stopped that cut 1 inch before the front of your canopy fin. So go ahead and just, if you want, you can just go ahead and measure 1 inch. 1 inch. Go ahead and draw a line there. Alright, we can go ahead and, now we want to cut we want to cut this line that we just made at a 45 toward the front of your top of your fuselage. I'm just going to set it up on there. You can go a 45 or a 50 or even a 60 if you want. It's not going to matter. You just want a nice angle cut on that. I'm going to go back here and cut again on the inside of the two lines we drew around our fin, canopy fin. We'll go ahead and cut down this. Right to our other line we just cut. Alright, make sure we got all the way through on both sides. Once you make these cuts, go back and check, make sure they're all cut really nice. Now we can go ahead and on that same line we're going to back cut a 45 toward the back of the fuselage. Just like so. And that's going to allow for our, get this scrap out of here. This is going to be our air intake. It's going to work with our two canopy fins. As you can see, it's going to be just like so. So I'm going to go ahead and hot glue these on here. Again, you want to hit on the side of the air intake and then where you're going to stand up your canopy fins. We'll go in here and hit this. Just like so. Go ahead and set this where you want it. Again, this is just an intake we're making. Just like that. Let's go ahead and hit this other side. If I were you, I would go ahead and just get the canopy at a hobby store. It adds a really cool look to the Batwing. Or if not, this is always good enough. And this is going to work great. As you can see, it looks pretty cool too. It's also an air intake for your EDF unit. Alright, so that was just an option. Let's lay these off to the side. Now I'm going with the canopy from the hobby store. And what I did was I went ahead and cut out my canopy the size I wanted it. I took and traced around it with a pen. I set it on there and I traced around it. Moved the canopy. Ended up cutting this piece out of it. I went ahead and slid my canopy up through the bottom and then just hot glued the foam board to the canopy from the underside. As you can see, it does a nice job. Looks really good. Alright, let's move on. Try to speed along here, so I only got to make a part 4. Alright, again, remember your EDF unit is 9 inches from the bottom of the ears on the Batwing. I even got a line there. So we got 9 inches to the very front of your EDF thrust tube and your EDF unit. It's very important, guys, because it'll keep your CG where you want it. Alright, let's go ahead and hot glue some pieces together here. Here's the sides of my fuselage. As you can see, one end's more pointier than the other. This end's pointier. So I'm going to take and put that toward the front. That's going to go on there just like that. Like that. And we're going to put it on there with a slight angle outward. Kind of like the micro bat wing that we built. Let's go ahead and hot glue this on there. Again, just line up your front, follow it back, just like so. Make sure you give it a little angle outward. Just like that. It's just a slight little angle, it ain't nothing dramatic. Got that side on. Let's go ahead and hot glue this side on there. Again, guys, make sure you guys use hot glue guns putting these pieces together. I've never had a jet fall apart in the air when getting one done like this. Again, we're just lining it up with the top fuselage line. Bring it out flush and give it just a slight bend out. Go ahead and clean up some of this excess stuff. Fine, usually I just rub my finger over it, it falls right off. Just a little excess glue sticking off the side. Alright guys, so there's the top of your main fuselage. I'm going to come over here. Here's our ESC. We're going to end up velcroing this on the inside here. This is going to be placed right over your EDF unit. Let's go ahead and do this velcro right now. Here I got some pieces that I just went out and bought. You can get this stuff at Staples or any of that. Just find some pieces of long velcro. I'm going to show you how I install my velcro here. I'm going to cut a piece exactly from the bottom of the bat ears to the very front of the EDF unit. Take some foam safe glue. You're going to want to glue up all this foam in here. You don't want, when you go to pull your battery off your velcro or anything else, you don't want this just peeling right off the paper. So I go ahead and just hit all this with some foam safe glue in here. It'll also add some strength. And get it all down in that crack in there. Again, you ain't going to see all this. This is all going to be covered by the fuselage. So let that set up for just a second. Come back in here and lay your piece in. Again, this is the velcro for my ESC, for my battery. A little bit past, so I'll just trim it back a little. Taking my time building this bat wing because it's going to be the one I'm flying around. I'll make sure to do a video of it as soon as we're done. Alright, as you can see, we got that like so. Now I got a place to mount my ESC. Just like so. Let's go ahead and get our servos in place. Now again, I'm running this on the Elevon mix. Here I got Velcro on the back of my receiver. Just going to stick that on there too. like so. Now if you guys want, so these wires ain't in your way, when you go to install this top, just go in here and cut out some of this foam, because you ain't going to see in here anyway. Just go ahead and cut some of that foam back off the foam cup, so your wires were clear real nice. As you can see, you can set them down in there real nice and a little deeper. Just like so. Then you can even go back and hit this with a little bit of glue to get them set in one spot. I don't want them to be in the way when I slide on my top of my main fuselage here. I'm just going to go ahead and glue them up in here. Alright, now I want to get my servos right around the spot that I'm going to want them. Don't mount your servos with any glue or anything yet. We're just going to tape them in the general area. Matter of fact, I should use some blue painter's tape so it doesn't peel off. So if you looked on the plans, you would see where to mount your servos. I kind of already know where they go. And all I want to do is just set my wire where I need it. So we're going to go ahead and glue on our top of our fuselage here. Just going to run my wires right to where I want them set. About right there. And we got our ESC all in place. Go ahead and plug it into our receiver. Just like so. Alright, now we can get ready to glue this top of this main fuselage on. Find you have to do a little bit of work to pack some things in there. You have to push a little firmly to get past those wires on one side. I'll go ahead and find where I'm going to set this, which is about right there. That looks pretty good. Alright, so once you line it up where you want it, you just want to make sure the front of the sides of the fuselage line up near the front of your bat ears. As you can see, I got it right there. So this is right where I'm going to want it, so I'm going to go ahead and trace some lines. So when I lay this back on here, I know right where it goes. Again, I'm just tracing lines around the outside of it. I already centered it over the EDF unit. Just like so. I got a wire that came off, that's why I'm having such a hard time putting that in there. Go ahead and tuck this wire back up where it belonged. Alright, make sure you guys got all your wires out of the way. We're going to go ahead and glue this top of this fuselage on here. sure everything's set where you want it. That looks pretty good. Go ahead and get another glue stick ready. I know I'm going to need it. Again, just make sure all your electronics are toward the center. You know what, I'm going to go ahead and reload a new glue stick. Alright, so we got to get this, we got to make sure we line up the front of the fuselage size near the tips of the bat ears. And again, I already traced my lines, so I know right where to set the canopy back on, or the canopy and the fuselage. Don't be afraid to use some hot glue and keep it to the inside of the fuselage top here. We're going to go back and hit this with some glue too once we get it on here. So I just line it up with my lines, find my points. Like I said, don't be afraid to get the glue on it. Now I'm just pushing down on it to set it on here. Looks pretty good. And we're going to come back and we're going to hit down these lines with some glue. Make sure it's all sealed up nice. We'll just let that fly for now. Alright, now let's move on to installing our tail fins, which are going to go in here. Just like so. There's no measuring for these really, you just put them toward the back. As you can see right there, I got them set fairly close to the back there, probably about a ½ inch from the back. And I'm just going to eyeball these when I glue them on here. I don't ever do no measuring or anything. So I know that's basically right where I want this. Just go ahead and mark it with a pen. This way I can lay it right back in the same spot where I got it. Go ahead and mark this other side, line it up, make it match. Make them both match. That looks pretty good right there. Just going to go ahead and mark it with my pen. So I know right back in the spot it goes. Just like so, you guys. Now, when you glue these on, you're going to have to glue the bottoms and the sides all at one time. I'll show you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and run a bead of glue across the bottom of the tail fins. Just like so. Then I'm going to hit a bead of glue across the side of the fuselage here. Just put enough to hold it because we'll go back and hit it with some more. Just like so. I like having both points glued on that. So you got your bottom glued, and then you got your tail fin glued to the side of the fuselage too. So it adds some good strength in there. Just like so. Let's go ahead and do this other side. I think I'm going to hit this first and then go back and hit the... So again, you want to get some hot glue on the side of your fuselage here. Come back and hit your tail fin. Don't be afraid to use the glue, guys. Line it up on my lines where I had it. Again, I'm just eyeballing this stuff out. There we go. I want to make sure both fins look proportional to each other. Now you guys, we can go ahead and do our final gluing of this. So what I'll do is I'll come back from across the top here, put a nice bead in here just to make sure they're connected really nice. And I'll fill in any gaps. There we go. Now we can go ahead and run our hot glue down the sides of our fuselage. Again, it don't take a whole lot. I mean, you can, if you guys have ever used a caulk gun, you'll know how to get a nice thin little bead down both sides here. Just like so. Go ahead and run some down this other side. Try not to glue your wires in there because you might need to take a little extra wire if you have to. Alright, there we go. It's starting to shape up and look like a real bat wing now. Again, I got my servos where I'm going to need them there. There's our elevons. On the original Batwing I had a KF airfoil, but I'm just going ahead and eliminating that. This is the newer version. You don't need a KF airfoil with the airfoil we built into the wing. This works perfect. So again, guys, just take your time putting your Batwing together. You'll see it's fairly simple watching the build videos and everything. Alright. So we installed our ESC and our 70mm EDF unit in there. Everything's in there and ready to go. Alright, what can we work on next? Alright, I know what we got. I'm not going to mess with these servos and stuff right now. I'll get to that in a little bit. Right now I'm going to show you what I do to strengthen up my jet. I'm just going to go back and hit some of these areas that I want to strengthen up with some packing tape. Like say for instance right in here. You guys can clear tape whatever you want on your jet. You can put as much of this stuff on as you want. But I'm just going to run some by 2.5 inches wide. I think it was just off of like some old P51 or something. I just picked it up from my local hobby store. And I'm going to put this one on my bat jet. With the plans, you get these fins that you can stick on here, and I'm going to show you right now how we're going to do this. And this is what will come with the plans. This is the option. You can go ahead and install a canopy of your set, your choice. So I'll show you what I did here. Was I went ahead and measured 1/2 inch in, 1/2 inch, same on the other side. That's where you get your measurement from there to there. So it's a 1/2 inch. Then on the back here, you just want to be at 1 inch. So from the inside of this turn to the back of the canopy fins is 1 inch. And I went ahead and marked it. Then I went a 1/2 inch in. I went ahead and set one of these on here, right where I wanted it. And I just traced it out with my pen, both sides, all the way around it. That's how we got our lines on both sides. So now we're going to take and we're going to score a line in the back. Alright, what up guys? We're going to start build video part 3 here of our 70mm bat wing. We're using the Detrum 70mm EDF combo kit from hobbyparts.com. Alright, picking up where we left off, I had just installed my thrust tube. And I told you how to install that, and it's very important that you get this right. Now here you can see I got lines marked right at the bottom of the ears, right across there. And it's basically right at the bottom of the ears. And you want to put your ruler on there and measure 9 inches back where our canopies meet here. We're going to score a line between the two. You'll see why in just a second. Again, this is right at the back of your 2 canopy fins. And this is your main fuselage, the top of your main fuselage. So we went ahead and scored a line in the back. Now we're going to go back in here like so. Now going on the inside line of your canopy fin, we're going to take and cut all the way through. We're going to do this on both sides. You're going to want to take this right to your EDF unit. Again, that was 9 inches from the start of these 2 lines. And then we made our marks back here at 9 inches. We took our half of our foam cup, we centered it on there really nice, traced it out, and we popped our EDF unit in there. Alright, let's pick up where we left off. I was showing you the option for going and getting a canopy from a hobby shop. And this one here, this one's like 9 inches long.